This week from China, it's Haval's H6 GT. First, a few stats. Comes in two models, one engine, one transmission. It's a 2-litre turbo. Turbo kicks in from 1,000 RPM, so that's pretty low, which is excellent for low speed manoeuvring. The 7-speed DCT can be a little bit, what are we calling it? Touchy. That's what we're calling it, touchy. But we'll get onto that in a minute. The pricing is stunning. This is a big car. 40,000 and some change for the bottom of the range one, and this one's the top of the range all-wheel drive one, 46 and some change. I mean, the Koreans and the Japanese must be absolutely shaking in their boots. 7-year warranty for this as well. The shape, I quite like the shape. It's the H6 SUV, but this one's the GT version, which has the sloped off back. So it takes some of the practicality of an SUV away from it. But, you know, it doesn't really matter. I think it looks really great. I wasn't sold when I first got into it. I will admit, it's taken the full week for me to kind of fall in love with it. It was really jerky to begin with. I wasn't quite sure about the look. I wasn't quite sure about the interior, but all of that melted away after 300 or 400 kilometers behind the wheel. It's also very spacious. In the boot, bags of space, a luggage cover, and some 60/40 seats. This floor is a 2-level jobby, and under it is a space saver spare and all the accoutrements you could need to change your tyres safely outside. And with the scary mood lighting, you'll notice heaps of room, and this is despite the fact that I've got a sunroof in this car, but it is really big and half of that glass opens up. In the back we've got a couple of USBs and an air conditioning outlet. But have a look at the knee room. There's absolutely bags of it. And this car has the leatherette eco leather interior. Don't ask me what that means. But anyway, I assume it's not real leather. You can't really tell, but it's the front where the business really starts to take place. The camera, this comes on when you're close to something that it perceives as a threat. 360 top down view plus a rear view. It also has fully automated parking, which I'm not going to give you a demo of. And the reason we were doing the filming in a secreted location was Sydney weather has suddenly gone horribly, horribly wrong. We've got a weather system parked right over the top of us. Let's see if we can get out of here without being creamed. With the stop-start switched off, it's an even smoother experience, but I've left that on purpose. But I have turned off the auto brake hold, but I've got myself in manual. There we go. Now I'm in automatic. The gears, they're fattled with this little rotary knob here on the side. The advantages of having this model over the one that's about $6,000 cheaper is a bigger screen here. Nonetheless, this is quite good resolution considering that this isn't a very expensive car. As I said, the Japanese and the Koreans should be very worried. There were comments made about the speaker grills here on the side, about how they didn't quite fit in. I think they look just fine, but some people don't. Now, it goes to show you that there are some things that, from at least an aesthetic point of view, are a matter of opinion. And that's why we don't all buy the same car, which is interesting. The trim, everything is soft, very soft. No inbuilt map, so I'm using Google. I put my foot down and she didn't move. Oh my God, oh my God. And Haval claims that there's a sporty note to the engine. I think that's probably a reach too far, if I'm being honest. But now I'm maneuvering around some pretty gnarly inner city streets. And And this is fine. You just have to be a little bit careful that when you put your foot down, you've got to give her a little bit of notice. Weighs around 1,600 kilos and some change. While we're at it, the menu system you can get back at any time by pressing the Haval button. Commonly used functions are a pull down. There you can access your sports modes, for example, your driving modes and an off-road mode, should you need to go off-road. However, because I need my maps, I'm just going to go back to my Google. There was probably an easier way to do that, and I'm sure once you get used to your car, you'll find shortcuts for everything. But you can hear the cabin's relatively quiet, though before, when the rain was really thundering down, I could really hear it. It was making such a din. Handling I think is acceptable considering the price. If this was an $80,000 or $100,000 car, my feelings might be a little bit different, but as it is, I think this is well worth the money. I do like the interior layout though. As I said, when I first got into it, I was a little disappointed. I'd gotten out of something that was much more expensive. The center console, for example, in this top model, it's got a Qi charger for your wireless charging of your phone, and outlets are plenty. There's 12-volt outlets and USB outlets all over the place. Only one though connects to the infotainment system, and you've got to make sure you get the right one. In front of me is a 10-ish inch screen. Very clear instructions. The lights are automatic. The wipers are automatic. Everything is automatic, though they're not matrix functions, but for 46,000 I don't expect it.
You can do it now.
That's the other thing. There's bings, bongs, and warnings every few minutes, and you're not always aware what it's warning you about. The other day I had to ask my co-drivers what it was warning me about because I couldn't see it on the screen. It was too small for me to read. Not that that matters. Eventually we came good and I found out it was trying to warn me about, what was it trying to warn me about? Oh, lane keeping assist or something.
Yeah, lane keeping assist.
While we're on the subject, you're out on the highway, you have all of the driving aids, and the safety aids of course are already activated, say blind spot monitoring and so forth. This will warn you if, say I was parked like I am now, and someone came up really fast on the right hand side, it'll warn me. With a bing. Oh my God, just shut up. When you're out on the highway, you're going to have the lane keep assist. And in this, the force is strong. The force is very strong. And in fact, around town, I turned it off. It was annoying at low speed. It's still watching out for you though, so the automatic emergency braking is still doing its thing. And let's just squeeze past. You can see that the car thought there was not enough room, so it brought the camera up. And actually it's easier to use than it is to use the automatic parking. I mean, frankly, if you can't park a car, you shouldn't be driving. The ride is, it's reasonably comfortable. Over some of the really choppy roads though, it did get a bit cranky pants. The heated and cooled seats did take a while to find that in the menu, and I cannot understand for the life of me why it isn't in the climate control menu. Group all of the light things together. But look, this is one of the early attempts. Haval hasn't been around for all that long in Australia. Who knows what the next generation is going to be, because I can tell you the last generation certainly didn't look like this. One thing I do like is the controls are well laid out and relatively easy to use after you've had a little bit of practice, because it's not immediately obvious what most of this stuff is for. M, for example, I thought would be to put the gears in manual, but no, it's mode for the radio system. There's no DAB, which is a little bit sad. So I've been watching listening to my regular digital stations by casting them from my phone with the built-in CarPlay, which of course is wired. The thing is, this has got everything built into it. It is incredibly well equipped. It's got everything you could possibly need, and if you had another badge on this car, it's going to cost you at least another $20,000 to $30,000. That's all this week for the Haval 2022 H6 GT. If I was still giving points, I'd give it really good points for almost everything except for the interior, which still looks slightly low rent. But remember, it's $46,000 and some change, drive away with a 7-year warranty. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just there to subscribe.